Welcome to the Facilitators Deep Dive Podcast, your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery. Today, we're going to be looking at Kudo cards.
Okay.
And Kudo boxes.
Sounds good.
You know, we've talked about them a little bit on the show before, but I thought it'd be cool to kind of like do a deep dive, you know? I found this website all about management 3.0 practices.
Yeah.
And they had a really interesting page about Kudo cards.
Okay.
And so I thought it'd be really interesting to go through it together and like pull out, you know, some of the really interesting bits.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really fascinated by this whole idea.
Yeah.
You know, I think it can be a really powerful tool.
Yeah. And I think, you know, we already kind of know the basics.
Yeah.
Right. It's about appreciation and, you know, giving kudos to your teammates. But I think there's some deeper stuff here.
Yeah, absolutely.
About like how it actually can impact motivation and like team dynamics.
For sure.
So that's what I'm hoping to pull out today.
Yeah, I think what's so cool about Kudo cards is that they really flip the script on how we usually think about recognition.
How so?
Well, traditionally, recognition comes from the top down.
Right, the boss.
Exactly. It's the manager giving praise or, you know, maybe there's like an Employee of the Month award.
Yeah.
But with Kudo cards, it's all about peer-to-peer recognition.
Oh, so like anybody?
Yeah. Anyone can give a Kudo card to anyone else.
Interesting.
And that changes the whole power dynamic.
Yeah, that's a lot less like formal and a lot more, you know, organic.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so powerful.
Yeah.
Because it's coming from your peers. It feels more authentic, more meaningful, you know? Yeah. And it really taps into intrinsic motivation.
Okay, now you're bringing in the big guns here.
Well, it's all connected.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. When you've been really engaged at work,
like
when you've been in that flow state, what's driving that for you?
Oh, that is a good question.
Is it the promise of a bonus or is it something deeper?
I think for me, it's when I feel like I'm actually making a difference. You know, like when my work has an impact and people notice and appreciate it, that's what really gets me going.
That feeling of being valued, of mastering a skill, of being part of something bigger, those are the intrinsic motivators.
Right.
And Kudo cards tap right into that.
Yeah, because it's not just about, you know, getting a pat on the back from the boss.
Right.
It's about your colleagues seeing and acknowledging the value you bring.
Exactly. It's like a mini celebration of your contribution.
I like that.
And it creates this ripple effect of positivity.
So the article actually mentions this this coach. Oh gosh, what was his name?
Tadeu
Marino. Yeah.
Yeah.
He introduced Kudo cards at a company called Knowledge 21.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
And what's wild is they actually measured an increase in happiness at work.
No way.
Yeah, just from implementing this practice.
That's incredible.
It's like those little cards are doing more than just, you know, boosting morale.
Yeah, it's like they're unlocking something deeper within the team.
It is.
You know what else I think is interesting about that example?
What's that?
They made the whole thing very visual.
Okay.
Like people were decorating their desks with their Kudo cards.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it's like this constant tangible reminder of all the positive reinforcement happening around you.
It's like turning appreciation into something you can actually see and touch.
Right, exactly.
Not just fleeting words.
It's like a physical manifestation of gratitude.
Yeah, I like that.
Makes you think, how often do we actually take the time to express thanks?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, do we let those opportunities pass us by?
Probably more often than we realize.
Yeah, and you know, it's not just about good manners.
Okay.
It actually ties into the whole field of positive psychology.
How so?
When you create a positive work environment, you prime people's brains for better performance and collaboration.
It's not
like you're setting the stage for success.
So it's not just about feeling good. It's about actually creating the conditions for better work.
Yeah.
So we've talked about how Kudo cards can boost morale and tap into this idea of intrinsic motivation. But are they all used the same way?
That's a great question, and the answer is no.
Okay.
There's actually a ton of variety in how companies approach Kudo boxes.
Really?
Some organizations make it a huge public display.
Okay.
Like a Kudo wall where everyone can see the appreciation flowing.
Like a brag board.
Kind of, but more about celebrating each other. Yeah. Others use them as a basis for raffles or even tie them into small rewards.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it really depends on the company culture.
The article also mentions this company, Softonic.
Okay.
They actually went back to using a physical Kudo box. Even though they had a digital system in place.
Why is that?
They realized people really craved that tangible element.
Oh, I see.
So why do you think that is?
I think it speaks to the limitations of going fully digital. Sometimes a handwritten note, that physical act of creation and giving, just carries more weight. It feels personal, deliberate, like a mini gift in itself.
It's like receiving a handwritten letter versus an email.
Exactly. The impact just isn't the same.
Okay, but what about companies with remote teams?
Yes. That's a common challenge.
Right.
But it's not insurmountable.
Okay.
The key is to find creative ways to adapt the core principles.
Okay, so like what are some examples?
Well, some teams use digital platforms for virtual Kudo cards.
Okay.
Others scan handwritten cards and share them online.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, you can even have virtual celebrations or shout-outs during online meetings.
Right.
The point is to keep that spirit of appreciation alive, regardless of location.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, so imagine you're designing a Kudo box for your workplace.
Okay.
Where would you put it to make the biggest impact?
That's a good question.
Would you tuck it away in a corner or make it front and center?
I think placement is key.
Absolutely.
You want that Kudo box to be a constant, subtle reminder of the culture of appreciation that you're trying to build.
You want it to become a natural part of the workplace flow.
I agree.
So where would you put it?
Definitely not hidden away in a corner.
Right.
It needs to be somewhere visible and accessible, but also somewhere that encourages a moment of pause and reflection.
Oh, I like that.
So not just a quick drop-off,
right,
but a spot that invites people to engage with the idea of appreciation.
Exactly.
Maybe near a communal area where people naturally gather for conversation, or a break.
Perfect.
That way the Kudo box becomes a conversation starter, a catalyst for connecting and acknowledging each other's contributions.
I love that idea.
It's not just about the box itself.
Yeah.
It's about creating a space that fosters those genuine moments of appreciation.
Well said.
So we've talked about how Kudo cards can be a great way to boost morale and encourage a culture of appreciation. But is it all just a feel-good gimmick?
Or is there something more to it?
Yeah, or can we actually tie it back to concrete results?
That's where things get really interesting. Because next I want to talk about how Kudo cards can actually be used as valuable data points.
Data points?
Yes, data points.
Okay, now you've officially piqued my curiosity.
I thought you might be intrigued by that.
All right. All ears, tell me more.
Well, we'll dive into that in the next part.
Okay, sounds good. I'm excited to hear more.
Yeah, I think you'll find it fascinating.
I'm sure I will.
Okay, so until then.
Until then, data points from Kudo cards. Okay, I'm officially intrigued. Spill the beans.
All right, so think about it this way. Each Kudo card is like a little nugget of information about what's working well within a team.
Right.
And when you step back and look at those nuggets as a whole, you can start to see patterns emerge.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Like who's consistently getting recognized and for what specific qualities.
So it's not just about the warm fuzzies. It's about extracting real insights.
Exactly. You got it.
From those little acts of appreciation.
It's like data-driven team dynamics.
Okay.
So for example, let's say you notice that one team member is always getting kudos.
Yeah.
For being super helpful. On the surface, that's great.
Right.
Right? But it also makes you wonder, are they taking on too much?
Oh, interesting.
Are they the go-to person for every little thing?
Yeah.
Which could lead to burnout down the line.
Right. It's like the Kudo cards are revealing a potential imbalance.
Exactly.
Within the team dynamics.
It's not just about celebrating the individual. It's about understanding how their strength and contributions fit into the bigger picture.
Okay, I'm with you.
Or let's say you notice that a certain type of contribution is rarely acknowledged. Like maybe those quiet problem solvers who work behind the scenes.
Right.
They're not getting the recognition they deserve.
That makes sense.
That's a sign that you might need to broaden the team's understanding of what's truly valuable.
Yeah, it's like holding a mirror up to the team's values and behaviors.
We all have these unconscious biases about what constitutes good work.
Absolutely.
And Kudo cards can help expose those blind spots.
Okay, I really like this perspective.
And the beauty of it is it's all based on real-time organic feedback from the team itself.
Not some top-down performance review.
Right. It's data-driven, but it's also deeply human.
I like that.
Okay, but let's talk about the flip side for a second.
Okay, the potential downsides.
Yeah, because even with the best intentions, things can go wrong.
Sure.
One common pitfall is letting the practice become routine or insincere.
Right.
If people feel pressured to give kudos, or if it becomes just another item on their to-do list, the magic is lost.
It becomes meaningless.
Exactly. Like imagine getting a Kudo card that just says good job with no specific detail.
Feels empty.
Totally. It's like going through the motions.
Right.
So the key is to emphasize genuine appreciation.
Okay.
Encourage people to give kudos only when they're truly inspired.
Quality over quantity.
Yes, exactly. And make sure those kudos are specific and meaningful.
So instead of great presentation,
it
would be more like, I really appreciated how you clearly explained that complex concept.
Yes.
It made it so much easier to understand.
Perfect. You nailed it.
What about people who are uncomfortable with public praise?
That's a great point.
Right? Not everyone loves being in the spotlight.
Yeah, especially introverts.
Exactly.
Right.
So how do we navigate that?
Well, that's where sensitivity and flexibility come in.
Okay.
You can offer the option for anonymous kudos.
Oh, that's good.
Or create a system where people can choose how they want to receive recognition.
So like some people might prefer a private message.
Exactly.
Others might love a public shout out.
The key is to create a safe and inclusive environment.
Right, where everyone feels comfortable participating.
Exactly. And remember, it's not just about the cards themselves.
Okay.
It's about fostering a culture of appreciation that permeates every aspect of the team's interactions.
So even if someone's not comfortable with a public Kudo card, you can still find other ways to express your thanks.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm curious. Have you experienced the power of Kudo cards firsthand?
You know, I have.
Really?
And it's always amazing to me how such a simple act of recognition can have such a profound impact.
I'd love to hear a specific example if you're willing to share.
Sure, there's one that comes to mind.
All right.
I was working with a team that was going through a really tough time.
Oh, no.
You know, tight deadlines, lots of pressure.
Yeah.
A few interpersonal conflicts brewing.
They've all been there.
Morale was definitely low.
So what did you do?
Well, we decided to try implementing a Kudo box as a way to shift the energy.
Makes sense.
At first, there was some hesitation.
Yeah.
Some skepticism, even.
I can imagine.
But then something amazing happened.
Okay, tell me more.
One of the team members, she was actually quite reserved.
Okay.
She received a Kudo card from a colleague acknowledging her incredible problem-solving skills.
Nice.
And the card highlighted a specific instance where she had gone above and beyond to resolve this really tricky technical issue.
I bet that made her day.
It did. And it wasn't just about the individual recognition. It was about seeing her contributions valued by the team.
Especially during a tough time?
Exactly. It was like this ripple effect.
Oh, wow. So that one act of appreciation sparked a positive chain reaction.
Exactly. People started noticing each other's efforts more.
Yeah.
Expressing gratitude more freely.
That's fine.
Offering support more readily. The whole atmosphere shifted.
And it wasn't just because of the Kudo cards themselves.
Right. It was about creating space for genuine connection and appreciation.
Wow, that's a powerful story.
And it reminds me of a really important element that can really magnify the power of Kudo cards.
What's that?
Purpose.
Purpose.
When people feel like their work has meaning and contributes to something larger than themselves, they're naturally more engaged and motivated.
I can see that.
And when you combine that sense of purpose with the power of recognition through Kudo cards, you create a truly potent force.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
But how do we actually cultivate that sense of purpose?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right. It can feel a little abstract.
Yeah, it can, but there are things we can do.
Okay.
One powerful approach is to clearly articulate the team's mission and values.
Okay.
So everyone understands how their individual contributions connect back to the bigger picture.
I like it.
It's about helping people see the forest for the trees.
And it's also about creating opportunities for people to use their unique skills and talents.
Yes, exactly. In a way that aligns with their passions.
That makes a lot of sense.
And you can take it a step further.
How so?
Encourage team members to share their personal goals and aspirations.
Interesting. I'm not sure I follow.
Well, by understanding each other's motivations, team members can better support and encourage each other.
Oh, I see.
It creates a sense of shared purpose and strengthens those bonds of connection.
So it's not just about the team's goals, it's about supporting each other's individual growth.
Exactly. Imagine a team where everyone not only understands the common goal, but also champions each other's individual journeys.
That would be pretty amazing.
It would. And you know what can play a role in that?
Kudo cards.
Kudo cards. They can be used to acknowledge and celebrate progress towards those personal goals.
It's like weaving together individual aspirations with the team's overall mission.
You got it. Creating this beautiful tapestry of purpose and recognition.
I love that. This is all making so much sense now.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
We've explored the power of Kudo cards for fostering appreciation, using them as data points for insights, and now we're layering in this concept of purpose.
It all ties together.
To further amplify that intrinsic motivation.
Exactly. And you know, there's one more element I think is crucial in this context.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Autonomy.
Autonomy, as in giving people more ownership and control over their work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When people have a sense of agency, when they feel trusted and empowered to make decisions, they're naturally more engaged and motivated.
That makes sense. But how do we strike that balance?
That's the challenge.
Between providing guidance and allowing for autonomy.
It's a fine line to walk.
Right. It requires a shift in mindset.
Absolutely. From that traditional command and control approach
Yeah.
to a more collaborative and empowering style of leadership.
So it's about trusting our team members.
Yes.
And giving them the space to flourish.
Precisely. It's about empowering them to make decisions, take ownership of their work, and contribute their unique perspectives.
And you know it can be a surprisingly effective tool to support this shift?
Let me guess, Kudo cards.
Kudo cards. They really are the Swiss Army knife of team dynamics.
You said it. Kudo cards can be used to acknowledge and celebrate those moments when team members demonstrate initiative, when they take risks and come up with creative solutions. Instead of just focusing on tasks and outcomes, we're recognizing the process and the individual contributions along the way.
This has been incredibly insightful.
I'm glad you think.
We've gone way beyond just the surface of Kudo cards.
Yeah.
We've delved into these deeper principles of motivation.
Absolutely.
Team dynamics
That's
and
right.
creating a thriving work culture.
It all boils down to this creating a work environment where people feel valued, appreciated, empowered to learn and grow, and connected to a shared purpose.
Well said. So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, is there one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
If there's one thing I hope sticks with you, it's this.
Okay, I'm listening.
Don't wait for someone else to create that positive and supportive work environment you crave. Be the change you want to see.
I like that.
Start by expressing appreciation, acknowledging efforts, and celebrating growth, both in yourself and those around you.
It's a good reminder that we all have the power to shape our work culture.
Exactly.
One intentional action at a time.
And sometimes the most effective tools are the simplest ones.
Especially when they're infused with genuine intention.
Well said. Okay, so let's loop back to Kudo cards for a moment.
Right.
We've talked about how effective they can be in boosting morale and fostering a culture of appreciation.
Yeah.
But there's another layer to this practice I find fascinating.
Wow.
Their potential to foster a growth mindset.
A growth mindset. Now, that's a concept I'm always eager to explore. Tell me more. A growth mindset.
Yeah, I'm really fascinated by how our beliefs about our abilities can, like, shape our potential. You know what I mean?
Totally. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly. So how do Kudo cards fit into that whole growth mindset thing?
Well, think about the messages we're sending when we give kudos.
Okay.
If we mainly focus on outcomes or like innate talents, we're kind of reinforcing the idea that abilities are fixed.
Like you're either born with it or you're not. Right. But if we use Kudo cards to acknowledge effort, perseverance, learning from mistakes, then we're shifting the focus to the process of growth.
So it's not about being perfect.
No.
It's about the journey.
Exactly. And it's about recognizing that everyone has the potential to grow.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's like we're saying, hey, we value your willingness to like stretch yourself.
Yeah.
To step outside your comfort zone.
To embrace the challenge.
Exactly. Even if you don't have all the answers yet.
And when people get that kind of positive reinforcement, it encourages them to keep pushing themselves, to see setbacks as opportunities for learning.
So it's like we're creating this environment where continuous improvement is celebrated. Not just encouraged.
It becomes part of the culture.
And that ties in perfectly with the whole Management 3.0 philosophy.
It does. It's all about embracing experimentation and adaptability.
As pathways to success.
Exactly.
This has been awesome.
It has been fun.
We've covered so much ground.
We have gone from appreciation to data points to growth mindset.
It's amazing how much depth there is to these little Kudo cards.
It is. It all comes back to that idea of small changes, big impact.
Right.
Sometimes the most powerful tools are already right there in front of us.
So before we wrap up, is there one final thought you want to leave our listeners with?
You know, if there's one thing I hope people take away from this, it's that they don't have to wait.
For what?
For someone else to create the kind of work environment they want.
Oh, I see.
Be the change you want to see.
Love it.
Start by expressing appreciation, acknowledging effort, celebrating growth.
Yeah.
And not just in others, but in yourself, too.
What a great reminder.
You have the power to make a difference.
Well said. On that note, I think we'll wrap up our deep dive into the world of Kudo boxes and Kudo cards.
Until next time.
Keep those kudos flowing.
Absolutely.
See you next time on the Facilitators Deep Dive Podcast, your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery. Until next time.
See you then.